think it's working because I can just sort of zip right through them.
Okay, perfect.
Bill Maddox, who owns the data? We're going to talk about that later. Thanks for that question. Okay. So then this question of what are the universal good practices, whether or not your passbook, ledger, savings for change, or whatever. The standard procedures and principles taught to savings groups by all these different agencies all produce safe groups. There's not a bad manual out there. Facilitating agencies, this is our recommendation, should adopt one of these proven systems. Modify it only if you have a good reason to modify it. In other words, you pick a system and you stay with it. Make sure that the savings groups place a high priority on respecting the group's rules as written in the Constitution. There's some study from Susan Johnson in Kenya that says respecting the Constitution, whatever the Constitution says, is the key. It's not the content, it's the respect. Make sure the savings groups think about security of funds. Doing so may involve use of financial institutions, but that will not be appropriate for all groups. Some thought about this, everybody should save in banks, but most people think that it works for some groups to save in banks, not all of them because of distance or cost. Build a culture in which the savings group respects not only borrowers, but also those who only want to save. And opinions actually are divided about this. There are some people that in the interviews who said that the people who only save, who don't borrow, are free riders, that everybody in a group should have to borrow. But there's a pretty strong preponderance of opinion that that's a mistaken thing for groups to do. Now, sometimes groups will decide that themselves and put pressure on everybody to borrow. But there's I think a pretty strong opinion that groups should not